What's happening, everyone? Matt here on the Vinyl Head UK channel, and I have got another one of my records that I want to share with you guys. So it's Monday, it's the start of another week, and are you guys ready for a little bit of heavy metal? This record is amazing. It's a beast of a record, back from 2016, so it's a fairly recent one, and it's one that I have definitely put on a hell of a lot since I got it. It's got a lot of rotation going already. Now, this band, are they hardcore? Are they metalcore? Does it really matter? There's a big argument about which they sit in. This is kind of a more of a metalcore-y sounding record, but let me introduce you to it, alright? Hatebreed. The Concrete Confessional, studio album number 7 by this incredible, great, in-your-face band. And as I say, this is a record that I've had on a lot. I like to play through each record a fair few times before I introduce it to you guys so I can hear what it sounds like. Remember, I don't want this to be a review of a record itself. I just want to talk about the vinyl, but obviously I want to get a feel for the sound of the vinyl a few times before I show it to you guys. But this one has took over a little bit. I haven't maybe played some of my other records quite as much because I can't get enough of this one, and I've got good reason to. I'll tell you why coming up, okay? So, 7th studio album. As I say, this was released back in 2016. It was released by Nuclear Blast, so this is a 2016 pressing. Okay, let's have a look at it. So, as I say, Hatebreed, the Concrete Confessional. Don't forget the. It's got some nice artwork going on. Again, it's one of those covers from a metal band that has a lot going on. The typical Hatebreed flame logo that hasn't really changed for the band at all over the years. But we've got a lot of skulls. We've got some more almost religious imagery going on in the corners there. We can see there's some hands on these bars. What looks like a bit of a skull face there as well. So there is a lot going on. A lot of grey, a lot of white, but then those flames of Hatebreed stand out a little bit more on it. The back, it's more of the same. So that grey, white artwork carrying on. Lots of chains. Doesn't look a very nice place to be. And then we have our track listing. Nuclear Blast logo down at the bottom there. So we'll look inside as we always do. It's got a nice black inner paper sleeve there with our record inside. This is Nuclear Blast. It's almost identical on the vinyl itself to another record that I have from Nuclear Blast, which we will get onto. I think I've already done. We've done Slayer, haven't we? Repentless. So it's just like that. So side, I think this is side A here. Yeah, we have not quite the artwork on the front there, but kind of similar. And then we've got Hatebreed and we've got the skull there. Flip side, so just like the Slayer one, you can see that we have track listing there, the two sides, 33 RPM. That's something I haven't mentioned much. All my records at the minute are 33 rather than 45 RPM. I haven't got any 45s yet. I'm sure they will come in time. I'm looking forward to hearing those. And then also inside we have lyric sheet, just basic lyric sheet there. And then we've got Who Is Who on there as well, which I will share with you right now. So Hatebreed have had a little bit of lineup changes through the year, nothing too dramatic in recent times. So vocals, Jamey Jasta, and on bass we have Beattie. Those guys have been with Hatebreed throughout, starting in '94 all the way up to present day. And then we have Lozinak, who again was with Hatebreed from '94. He left the band and he came back, I think it was 2009. He rejoined, so he's been on the last 2 or 3 studio albums. And then we have two guitarists. Second guitarist is Frank Novinec. I think I pronounced that right. I hope so. Also on guitar. And then Matt Byrne, who's been with Hatebreed since about 2000, 2001. So over 20 years now, Matt Byrne's been with the band. So this album, it packs a punch, okay? It is 34 minutes long. So it's a short record. There are 13 tracks, so 13 tracks crammed into 34 minutes. All of the tracks bar one are under 3 minutes long. So that kind of gives you a feel for what's happening with this record. It's fast, it's in your face, it's angry, it's an angry sounding record. It sounds amazing. We'll come more onto the sound a little bit. Let's talk about tracks. So track listing, okay? So side A, we have AD, which is the opening track, Looking Down the Barrel of Today, 7 Enemies, In the Walls, From Grace We've Fallen, Us Against Us, and Something's Off. And then flipping on to side B, we have Remember When, Slaughtered in Their Dreams, The Apex Within, Walking the Knife, Dissonance, and Serve Your Masters, closing up that almost half an hour of power. The best records are half an hour, right? Rain in Blood is a good example. Okay, maybe not all the great records are half an hour, but I'm thinking of Rain in Blood being like half an hour. So yeah, these tracks pack a punch. There's no let up with Hatebreed. If you know Hatebreed, you know what you're getting yourself in for. AD, the opening track, it sounds like thrash. It has hints of Slayer in there. There's a solo, which, you know, again, you don't get many solos with Hatebreed. Let me put this over here out of the way. You don't get many solos with Hatebreed. So to hear a solo was quite cool. And it was kind of from the book of Slayer, almost. And then there's a couple of lead-offs later in the track on the guitar, which are very Slayer-esque. They sound, that tone of the guitar is very Slayer-like. You know, this could almost be a latter-day Slayer record in parts. Not the whole way through. I'm sure if you stuck Tom Araya over on vocals instead of Jamey Jasta, some of the tracks you'd be like, oh, this is weird for Slayer. But there are parts which, you know, could easily fit onto a Slayer record. And definitely on AD, it's from the book of Slayer. I'm sure these guys are big Slayer fans. The first time I ever saw Hatebreed live, Slayer were on the bill. It was a fantastic night of metal. So we had Mastodon opening. I'm a big Mastodon fan. I'm a big fan of all 4 of these bands. But Mastodon opened. They literally played for 20 minutes. Not enough. Then Hatebreed. Then we had Slayer and Slipknot. What a night of metal that was. That was the first time I saw Hatebreed, was with Slayer. So, you know, they've pulled a trick or two from the Slayer boys, I think. With that. Looking Down the Barrel of Today sounds massive. The drums sound massive. As I say, I don't want to review this track by track. I want to talk more about how the vinyl sounds, but I have to mention some of these tracks and let you know what they're like. The gang vocals are there. We hear a lot of gang vocals with Hatebreed. The gang vocals are there, which I like. It makes it feel like a Hatebreed record when I hear those gang vocals. 7 Enemies. Big palm muted riffs once again. You know what you're getting with Hatebreed. I don't have to tell you Hatebreed fans what you're going to hear on this album. If you've got it, I'm sure you know already. There's a bit where Jasta goes blah, and he spits it, he like vomits this word out, and it sounds incredible. The next track, In the Walls, there's a bit later on where he says rats, and the first time he says rats again, he's spitting that word out. From Grace We've Fallen starts with, it doesn't start with a bass, sorry, but the bass sounds massive on this one. The bass starts on a later track, I'm sorry. But it sounds huge. The track that sounds different to me is Something's Off, which is the last track on side A. Something's Off, that's the track, sorry, that starts with the bass intro, which, again, I'll come on to the sound in a moment, but it starts with his bass intro and then it kicks into the song. But this is the longest track. This is a track over 3 minutes. As I say, there's only one track that is over 3 minutes, and it's this one. It's nearly 4. So it actually takes quite a chunk of time on this record itself compared to all the other tracks. But there's a part where Jamey Jasta kind of, he doesn't sing, but he sings. It has a distortion still, but it's not that Jasta screamy metal vocal that we're used to. He brings it down, and it's quite a different sound just in general, this track. There's a big breakdown at the end which takes you straight back into Hatebreed, but it is, you know, a bit different. It breaks it up a little bit. It's not just track after track of slamming after slamming. You know, it still slams this track, but it's quite different sounding, and it brings a bit more difference to the table as such. And then after that, you know, we carry on with more typical Hatebreed. But how does it sound? Like I say, I try and stress on these videos that I don't want to be reviewing it. This isn't a review channel as such, where I say how the album actually is, if I like it, if I don't like it as such. I want to just talk about the vinyl. This is the most important thing, this vinyl, this record. And you know what? I was very, very surprised by this. I have other metal records in my collection, which, you know, I'll talk about in later videos, which are kind of not too dissimilar, maybe, from Hatebreed, like that fast metal sound. Slayer being one that we've talked about. And I kind of expected, and I don't know why, I kind of expected this record to sound maybe just like the CD had transferred over onto vinyl. I wasn't expecting big dynamic soundstage ranges at all. How wrong was I? This album sounds immense. This record, this vinyl sounds absolutely immense coming through my speakers. And that is why, I mean, the tracks are strong. You know, I think Hatebreed are back on form with this record. But I think that's why it's got so much play, because of how dynamically amazing it sounds. I've mentioned a little bit about some of the tracks and kind of how they sound. But from the minute AD starts, it bursts out that speaker. I mean, the song starts, it's in your face from that first note, and Jasta's straight in with the vocals, talking about his disdain for the American system. And honestly, if you shut your eyes, Jasta is round that room spitting those lyrics in your face. It's like he has a lot of high energy anyway. If you've seen Hatebreed, you know it's high energy, and it sounds like he's in the room with you, and it's high energy, and the riffs come through. I talked on that Slayer record that I was a bit disappointed because the riffs, the guitars, Tom Araya's vocals sat back a little bit in the mix, but the drums are very forward. This feels like everything is there level, except Jasta. I think the vocals are slightly forward in the mix on this, so it really is spitting those lyrics out and snarling those lyrics out. I talked about that blah that he spits out, and it's in your face. You can almost feel him in your face going blah. And the same with that rats, so in your face, and it sounds immense. We said about Something's Off, that over 3 minute track that just breaks the album up a little bit into something a little bit different. That bass intro I mentioned, it doesn't really feel like you're there with it. It sits back a little bit. I found it didn't come through the speakers quite as much for me. But then as soon as that song kicked in, wow, again, we were back. It was pummeling round the room. And just everything sounds amazing. That brief solo that we got in AD came straight out the speakers. I wish all metal releases sounded like this, because nothing else would get played. All that blues and country that I like probably would put to the side a little bit, because this is what I want. I want pummeling metal coming through my speakers and it to sound amazing. And this record, this vinyl, really does just that. Looking down the barrel of today, those tom bits, they sound like Raining Blood then, but there's the tom parts that he's playing. Again, it's like the drums are sat there and Matt Byrne's playing it to you in your own lounge. And I was so surprised, because I didn't expect that from this record. I don't know why. It may be ignorance. Maybe I thought that, you know, some of these sort of metalcore or hardcore, whatever you want to call them, bands probably wouldn't have the sound to sound like it does coming on the vinyl coming through. But yeah, the dynamics on this are immense. I would highly recommend it. I hope that more metal records I get over time sound as dynamically good as this. I was dead impressed and I was surprised. I hold my hands up. I got this one wrong. I didn't think it would sound so great. But it definitely has kept other records off my record player. This has been heavily rotated, as I say. So, there we have it. The 7th studio album by Hatebreed, The Concrete Confessional. It's a beast, and you won't regret it. You will be worn out from that half an hour of this record. Turn it up loud. Let's go around that lounge like you're in the pit and have a good time to it. Remember, subscribe, hit the like button, turn on that bell for all the notifications for all of my content, and I will be back soon with more records from my collection. But until then, enjoy your Monday, enjoy your week, and take care.